learners in conversation are indeed very active co-participants. What I'm presenting today is a part of a larger project. How learners of German manage talk and accomplish pedagogical tasks, but in particular how they manage talk and maintain intersubjectivity, and that is how I see the interactional competence. What I'm presenting today is an empirical examination of L2 learners' responsive behavior when they are engaged in conversation outside of conversation with one another outside of the classroom. These are data recordings from students who a part of a project assignment was to meet outside of the classroom via Google Hangout or Skype or Zoom, which is also a video conference program, and then to do the task and also record their interaction. Listeners shape the ongoing conversation and create intersubjectivity by their verbal responses, by their facial expressions, gesture, body language, body posture, and vocalization. And through their responses, they indicate their understanding of talk. They signal whether they have any problems with talk, or understanding or hearing the talk. They express agreement, disagreement, show their affective and also epistemic stance, meaning, is this a knowledge that I'm receiving? Is this something that I already know? Is this a new knowledge? And so on. I focus particularly on one particular response environment, and that is responses to informings. And by informings, I mean any turns or actions that provide information to a recipient as new or informative, such that they become more knowing. So if somebody is at a non-knowing or little knowing state, by receiving the information, the state changes to more knowing or a knowing recipient. I have an example here. So we have, who did you go with? This is a question, it's a WH question. It addresses, this is from Prue, and it addresses Virginia. And the answer, the response is Beth and Leggett. And then there is a pause, and then we have Prue going, oh, which is also a response to the informing. So by doing oh, what Prue is doing is responding, it's signaling to Virginia that I received the information, it's a new information, I didn't have that information, and my state of knowledge has changed from not knowing to knowing. This particular response is what I am interested in, and I'm going to show you examples of how learners of German, what kind of response tokens they use in this particular position when they receive informings. We know that German is a particle-rich language, and some of the response tokens, for example, oh, in English, in German we have 3 different kinds of response tokens for the once response token in English. And so that made me curious to see, okay, so what we don't really specifically or explicitly teach these in our classes, in our language classes. And we have all these assignments where we want our students to meet and discuss and agree and disagree and figure out what are the commonalities and differences and so on. But then we don't give them these little response tokens that are important to, signal, oh, is this an information that I already know? Is this a new information? Or am I agreeing or disagreeing? And so on. And of course, these response tokens cannot be translated from one language into another based on the perceived similarities. So the O in English may have a very different meaning when it's used in German interaction. And the L2 co-parts with choice of response tokens and formulation of responsive turn, it may have interactional consequences, so depending on whether that is the appropriate, the right response token or not. So data, 4 hours and 20 minutes of video recorded conversations. These are adult learners of German who were enrolled in a German language class at OSU. As I said earlier, they were involved in a class project where they met outside, they recorded their interactions, and they met via Zoom or Google Hangout. So the first example that I'm going to show you is from the third semester German group. This is the homework assignment that they received for this particular recording. It says, speak with your partner. And then talk, what does friendship mean to you or your partner? What commonalities did you find? What differences? And then they were also given some expressions to use in responding. So for example, I see friendship as, or good friends are, friendship means to me, or I think that friendship. Okay, so they are given these phrases, however, no response tokens. The task, which is the WH question, that's what I'm interested in, elicits informing, and we have the response informing in second position, and then the response or reaction to informing in third position. And what I'm looking at is how L2 speakers respond to these informings. And in line 3B goes, hello, what do you think of friendship, or what do you think friendship means to you? And then there's some laughter in line 4, an overlap, and then in line 5, A answers by saying, I think that friendship is very important. And in line 3, B goes, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yes, yes, yes. So we see that we have a WH question, was denkst du über Freundschaft? And then we have a response, ich denke, dass Freundschaft ist wichtig. So we have an assessment, friendship is important. And then we have a response in a third position, the B response or reaction to the informing that A provides, says, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When looking at the German example, as I said, so we have, I find friendship is important. We have also an assessment. And then the L2 speaker is using, oh yeah. So what is she doing? She's agreeing with the A's assessment. They both are agreeing or she's agreeing with an assessment on something that they both have independent access to. I don't think like friendship, anybody would say friendship is not important. And I think, both agree based on their independent experience that friendship is important. And however, this oh yeah is not the appropriate token that we use in German. So then my question was, so what would we use in German? And what we would use is genau. And genau has been shown that speakers use genau to mark, okay, I agree on something that I have independent access to, independent knowledge of. Why is this learner using oh yeah in this particular position? Okay, let's look and see where does it occur in English. And the environment that it occurs is right after assessment, right after when the speaker says friendship is important, okay? And there are studies that are like Heritage. He looked at assessments and where O's occur in response to assessment, so O prefaced responses to assessment. And what he shows is that these O preface assessments occur when the speaker used to invoke the independent basis of an agreement. So two speakers come to an agreement of something that both have independent access to. Okay, and so I'm thinking about, before that, I show you the example from Heritage. Here, this is about an area in England, Kent, area of Kent, Whelan, and they talk about trees. And then in line 9, we have Les goes, especially in the Whelan, it's lovely. And in line 10, Rob goes, oh, yes, yes. So Rob agrees with Les. What I showed is that by looking at responsive behavior following informings, we can see that and looking at also the literature review, we saw that there are quite a few different response tokens in languages, and one cannot necessarily translate one response token into the other language, even if they sound similar, like English, for example. And we're looking at language like the text materials, teaching materials, at least in the textbooks in German that I'm familiar with. The only response tokens that we see are yes, no, some odd ones like natürlich, naturally, and selbstverständlich, of course, but then they're not really teaching what particular interactional environment are appropriately used. We focus a lot on, as I showed you the example, for example, the way the task was designed, and the teacher thought, oh, I'll give them, some phrases to answer to these questions, but none of those phrases actually include a response token, and they don't even talk about the third position response token. Which, many of these tasks are questions and then answer. So questioning, eliciting information, and then what do? You respond to that information, but then the task does not include that part, focuses mainly on question answer. Again, I've showed that L2 speakers are active listeners, so they do orient to this third position, not only listen, but also orient to reacting to the informing. And I think I'm just going to repeat. And I think, what we see is that they understand, they, as I said, orient to that position, but they don't have the appropriate token. So what they do is they put the English one, the one from their L1. And they're not even aware of it. And I think it's really important that one includes in the instructions that they receive for the task, but also in the classroom, practice making them aware of these response tokens, in what environment they are used, and then practicing using them.